Hey, here we are again, and we're going to start our first day example of Microsoft Access. So here I am in Microsoft Access, and as you can probably see, this has some real similarities to Microsoft Excel, right? Looks a lot like it. We can see up on our ribbon up here that that looks a lot the same, right? But that's about where the similarities are going to stop, right? That's about it, and beyond that, we're going to see that this is actually quite a bit different. So we've got our ribbon that looks similar. We've got our tabs up here with buttons down inside of here, but that's about where the differences stop. You can see. Right, we don't have a spreadsheet down here. There's no columns and there's no rows, nothing like in Excel. Instead, what we have are the four objects in an Access database. And to start with, we've got tables, right? We've got tables, and tables are the heart of any database, right? This is where the actual data and records live. Without a table, we don't have a database, and none of this other stuff makes any sense until we have these tables. Let's take a look at this. What are we dealing with here? Well, in our example here, in the case study we're working with over the next couple of days, we're talking about a mall kiosk that sells little wooden toys. All right, and they have 10 wooden toys, and that's what we're going to look at. So this table is just a table like we would have, just like in Excel, right? It looks just like an Excel table, right? Like an actual Excel table like we used back in Chapter 4. We had structured references and stuff, right? It looks just like it. We've got descriptive field headers at the top, and then we've got individual records showing transactions down here in the rows. So, hey, we've got our product IDs here, and then we've got the description of what the item is, how many we have, what it costs, the selling price. Well, wait, look at that. On hand and cost, right? We see, or selling price. We look at these things, and we immediately think, hey, we could calculate any potential revenue, or we could calculate the cost of our inventory, stuff that we've done back in Excel, right? So we look at this thing, we're like, okay, so that's just like an Excel table. In fact, this may have come from Excel, right? Might have had a little table like this and imported it on in here. Well, what else do we have? We got another table over here, and that's our supplier data table. And this is, oh, okay, these are the four various suppliers that we buy stuff from, right? And even if we do a little drop down here, we can see, oh, we expand that out. Okay, well, these are the things that we buy. These are the toys that we buy from that supplier. I'll go ahead and collapse that back up. And so supplier AP, standing for Antonio Patino right there, right? And that supplier's address and state and zip and telephone number. So we have our table there of data, these two tables of data, and we've got those, and because we have those, we now have the beginnings of our Access database. We can start doing fun stuff with this. So this would be the back end, kind of under the hood, that we would build this out as the designer of this database, right? We would import this from Excel. We would build these things out, and we would set things like this. You see how this says product ID here? This is going to be our primary key, right? This will be that unique identifier that we talked about in lecture, like a student ID or a social security number, something like that. It'll be completely unique to this item, right? We have this primary key that'll then become a foreign key over here in this other table over here, right? And so we have our primary key here. We have this table, but this would be the kind of thing that we would build as the designer. So then, how would the user of our database, or users rather of our database, how would they interact with it? And to figure that out, we need to come over here and hop down here to the forms. All right. So the forms are just fancy user interfaces for our table. And let's just take a look at that. We're on our products table right now. Let's look at the product form. I'm going to bring that up. And hey, look at this, right? So what do we got here? Product ID, description, on-hand, cost, sell price. If I hop back over into the products table, I'll see that those are exactly the same as our field headings up there. So when I come back over to the products form, well, hey, this is just this nice, clean interface where I can go and I can make changes to things as a user of this database. I can view these things in this nice format. I can scroll and I can go, oh, okay, hey, here's fire truck. There's 7 on hand. This is what they cost. This is what they sell for. And if I come back over into the products table, I'm going to see the same thing. There it is, fire truck. There's the product ID. How many do I have on hand? Oh, I got 7, just like the form told me. Right? So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll pick this up and we'll start seeing how this user interface is used to modify the contents there.